I entered the market in 2020 with the goal of attending to the health of human occupants and the durability of the structure overall.
If you're entering the building trades or currently working as a home builder and would like to use your skills for good, you're in the right spot. In this video, we talked to carpenter Michael Carlin about how he builds to take care of the people, take care of the building, and take care of the planet. So tell us a little bit about this project.
So this structure is a net zero ready project. So the solar panels to create the full net zero will be on the garage structure. We're standing on that slab right now.
Okay.
In terms of performance aspects or other components of that net zero ready, we have continuous exterior insulation, full cavity insulation, and attic insulation that's in excess of code.
All right. How's the air tightness on this house?
Very tight.
Do you remember what it tested at?
The mid-work blower door test was 85 CFM, so it translates to about 0.4 or 0.38 ACH 50.
So pretty much essentially the same air tightness that you achieved with the Evergreen house.
Yeah, pretty darn close.
Stunning. So you worked on the Evergreen house, kind of honed your skills in that, and you brought that same skill set and maybe mindset to this project as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we should go inside and take a look.
Check it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So Michael, this is beautiful. We're in this main open space. We can kind of see everything, but still we'd like the tour.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe kind of show us around and tell us a little bit about how it's constructed and what you worked on. Yeah. We'll follow you.
All right, that sounds good. So as you can see, open concept living space, kitchen flowing directly into a dining living room space. The other half of the house houses the mechanical room on this side. The mechanical room on this side houses the washer dryer, which is a combination heat pump washer dryer, as well as the heat pump water heater, well tank, all the nuts and bolts that are required for a structure to exist. There is a half bath on the left side, a full bath on the right-hand side, and 2 bedrooms at the very back of the house.
It's nice and quiet in here. And I'm noticing the deep windowsills, and so we're talking similar super insulated wall assemblies that you've built before?
Correct. Yep. So this wall assembly is a standard 2x6 16 on center frame with dense pack cellulose cavity infill. And then on the outside, there is a 4 1/8 inch nail base panel.
Nice. And then what's the floor?
The floor is polished concrete.
Okay.
Nice.
And what's outboard of that?
Underneath, there is R24 EPS insulation.
Okay.
That's the same level of the Evergreen house.
ICF foundation surrounding
Okay.
for stem walls.
Nice.
Very nice. So you got about an R36 exterior wall, nominally, if we add that cavity wall plus the continuous insulation. Mm-hmm. Basically, you put a nice winter coat around this house.
Yep.
So what else? It looks like there's an upper spot.
There is an upper, there's a loft space that functions currently as a bedroom. So in keeping with our performance-focused or high-performance goals, this house is heated and cooled with an air source heat pump with a backup plenum heater. We live in a climate where the backup plenum heater is required because the reality is it's too cold a certain percentage of the year for the heat pump to adequately provide dedicated heating. This structure also includes an ERV for providing fresh air to the occupants. Yeah.
Beautiful details. And cellulose in the roof ceiling?
Yep. So this ceiling assembly is a truss ceiling assembly with a full ventilation cavity, 1.5 inches deep. The remainder is filled with cellulose. Then we utilized a class 2 vapor retarder at the ceiling as a continuation of our air barrier. And then we actually furred the entire ceiling down by 1.5 inches. So there's 2x4 sleepers on the bottom cord of the trusses for this wood to be fastened to.
Nice. So let's go downstairs. I really want to ask some questions just about your journey, your background in building, and how you got to where you are now, and what you're choosing to do with your career.
Yeah, let's head downstairs.
I see there's this huge need for us to build better buildings. And I spent a long time kind of getting to that point in my career, and you have in a very short time gone from, somebody who builds buildings to somebody who builds really terrific buildings, like this beautiful building that we're in that's going to be a zero energy building when the project's completed. One of the things that I think is so important is we are, as an industry, we need more of that, and we need it fast. You were able to do it. So what are the things that you could offer to a builder who wants to get to that next level of building standard, to build high performance zero energy buildings? What should they do? How do they get there?
I think the biggest component there is deciding that you're willing to educate yourself enough to get to the point where you can do this consistently. It's not a steep learning curve. A lot of builders look at this from the perspective of the number of times you lap around the house. So you lap around the house once when you're framing, you lap around the house again when you're putting on sheathing, if it's not done in conjunction with the framing. You lap around the house again, in our case, if you're including exterior insulation and all the air sealing details that go along with that. And then you have one more trip around the house to install siding soffit fascia.
To build with this kind of more robust enclosure, it's one, maybe two more laps around the house, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? The wheel's there. Like, we have these methods and materials that work. How hard was it, or how difficult was it for you to go from a typical building to this building?
I think the biggest thing that stands out in my mind in terms of learning leaps were prior to actually being Fern as an employee, I had a subcontractor ask me a very pertinent question. He asked me what my red line test was on a house. Well, a red line test is how you're tracing the continuity of the air barrier, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can trace that air barrier with a red pen, you have continuity. Now it's taking that from the piece of paper and bringing it to fruition in physical form. That for me was life-changing. I mean, all of a sudden I realized if I can do this one component, I can add as many other pieces to this puzzle as I want to, because I can figure out how to integrate the other pieces. But as long as that building is airtight, we're A-okay.
Builders, especially the general contractor, but I would say anybody in the building trades, have a tremendous amount of power. You are the professionals, and I think with that power comes responsibility, but that power can be harnessed if you as the builder are interested and want your buildings to be good, better, relevant into the future.
My exposure from very early in my career was best practice. Expectation was best practice, which, as any of us know, is very difficult to actually decipher, because especially in the age of social media, where anything could be considered best practice depending on who's speaking about it.
Yeah.
So being able to decipher what actually is physically working in the built environment, mm-hmm. and B, how to go about implementing that helps us immensely.
You're in a unique position here, right? So the builders, I don't know about any of you all, but there are often times where builders have bulldozed over great ideas from the customer, great ideas from the architect, great ideas from other folks to kind of build as they always have. Mm-hmm. So the builder has an enormous responsibility, I think, and also an enormous impact on what a project ends up being at the end.
Yeah.
And so you have a couple of things, right? So you can insist that there are better ways of doing this, and you have a track record of buildings that work, mm-hmm. right? And so that's amazing. In addition to that, anybody who works with you is also somebody who's impacted by the things that you are doing that work. So if you have carpenters working with you, this may be what they carry forward wherever they end up after this. And the sub's seen it too. So it can have these ripple effects where you end up on another job and you're like, well, why aren't we doing it this way? Why did we choose to do this when we know that there's other ways to do this better? And the other piece to that is you've come to that at a very early point in your career. And so you have, whatever's ahead of you to create those ripples for the industry and the other folks who come into contact with your projects.
We need more of you. And hopefully this video and others like it will encourage other folks to choose the path that you chose and are having such success with, and we all need this. If you'd like to see an earlier home that Michael worked on, the Evergreen House, you can click on the link below and see the Evergreen House. Michael's past work from way in the past, 2 years ago. Back when he was just a youngster.